Do you keep tiny amounts of food in your fridge for way too long? Well, if you do, then you're in good company. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the nuances of everyday interactions that make up the monotony of life. Let's pick up a floppy slice of pizza and watch as every single ingredient slides right off. Grab your knitting needles and a blanket because it's time for three old friends to sit around and sew a new patch into their quilt of friendship. So join me, Josh, with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And our very special guest host, Nelson Allingham.
Welcome to Patchwork.
Like a pro, like a true pro.
Also had the hands out. A very giving gesture.
Yeah, that's, I think, the way you need to do it.
Yeah.
It's how the Italians do it.
That's right. Yeah, we're not very gesticulate.
No, we're not. So our guest host today is Nelson. Nelson and I have been friends for many years. Nelson is also a host of the internationally renowned Reddit on Reddit podcast, who records it with Cambo, who was on a few weeks ago.
Yes, that's right. Reddit on Reddit is a pretty casual pod. We're kind of the... Do you know what I realized? Just the other day, I used to kind of put down our show a little bit because
I
I'd be
still
like,
do that.
we're trash, we don't edit or anything. Yeah. But then I realized that there's just a certain type of person that kind of likes that trash. They watch the
Idiots.
Kardashians and they listen to Reddit on Reddit podcasts. I think that's...
Just before we started recording, I admitted to you that I have your podcast on, but I don't actually listen to you talk. You're just background fodder.
background.
And as I said it, I was like, this will be really nice to hear.
Yeah. No. That's fine. You're just in that certain category of people.
We've said it before. We have people telling us that they use Patchwork to fall asleep.
Yes, we've had listeners do the same for Reddit on Reddit.
You just want a calm, smooth, undulating
That's why
conversation.
every now and again I just yell into the microphone.
Wake up! Jesus.
Yeah.
Speaking of sleep, before we get started, I have some tragic news. And it actually is very tragic for me. I prematurely retired a jumper and made it accidentally into a sleep top. I have had in the past tense. I'm already in mourning. I had this really beautiful jumper that I used to wear out, and it was kind of a vintage look. Had like Reebok along the front. And it's super comfy, but when you wear it over jeans, it looks kind of cool, you know? It's like, oh, that guy, you know, he knows what he's doing. And
I wonder what he's like sleeping in bed.
well, I got home and took the pants off, and it was a bit cold. Didn't want to turn the heater on. And I was like, I'll just have a quick nap with the jumper on. And that was it. I had the quick nap, woke up and I was disgruntled, turned the lights off, kept the jumper on, woke up in the morning. Jumper's a bit stretched.
Oh,
it's
no.
faded somehow overnight. And now it's tainted with sleep.
Oh, that's so good.
I don't understand this. How can it not just come out of retirement?
I have put it in the wash. I've tried to bring it back to its former glory, but every time I have it on, I just think that it's been in bed.
Oh, yes. No, I actually totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I have this same view. I get to the point, right, where sometimes I will be going to bed, I've got a nice t-shirt or shirt on or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't be bothered.
Yes.
Like changing into a bed shirt. So I'll wear this one on and never again can I wear that shirt again. So to the point now where I know that I do it. So instead, even in the freezing cold winter months, I'll just be like, no shirt.
Yes.
I'm cold tonight.
Yeah.
That's me.
Can't resign the body.
What a great level of laziness. You're too lazy to go put on a new shirt, but not lazy enough to take one off. You're like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not putting on anything else.
That's easy enough. Exactly.
I don't understand because, is it just a mental barrier for both of you that it becomes a bed thing? Is that what it is? Or you seem to be making out like Christian, like it has changed.
The jumper has absolutely changed now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because I think, especially with me, I think because I get hot during the night and I must sweat and then and I do a bit of rolling.
Yeah.
And then I think it's creased in such a way.
When you're sleeping, you're not grabbing at your clothes like, oh, it's sweaty while you're asleep.
I'm like the Hulk.
Yeah.
But it just is, it's stretched in such a way that it's no longer viable as an out top.
Yes, it actually around the neck.
It's the neck.
You can
It's
see
the
it.
neck.
See the most.
You can, and I think you could pick someone who's wearing a sleep top from their neckline.
Was someone getting nervous while I said,
Yeah.
nervous in bed. What's going on?
Man, there's a lot of dogs in this stream.
I don't. So what if there's some sort of sleepwalking going on here? Do you reckon that's a possibility?
You think that? Wait, are you saying that I should wear a nice jumper to bed in case I sleepwalk out?
I wasn't, but that's a much better idea.
Best wear this suit in case I end up at a funeral.
Yeah.
That guy is literally sleepwalking. Have you ever sleepwalked?
No, but I've had moments, when this isn't that funny, but when you're like in a nightmare and you wake up and you remember the bits and you're saying those like kind of screams that are really real. You're like,
Oh,
yeah.
you are?
Yeah. And you're like, wow, that was real terror.
Yeah, yes. Genuinely
what's going on
terrified. Do you know one time, legitimately, I scared the crap out of my partner because I woke up and I started barking like a dog.
Oh, man.
And I actually remember enough of just the end of it where there were dogs coming at me, vicious dogs.
Yeah.
And so instead of like, I couldn't
There's
turn.
a lot of
I
dogs
couldn't-
in this tree.
I couldn't turn the wrong. I was pulling at my neck. And I was
Look at my
like,
sausages.
I was like, how do you get rid of vicious dogs? You growl and bark back at them. So I was like, yeah. And then I woke myself up and my partner woke up at the same time. And I was like, but I was so still in a daze. Like I was still so tired that I was like, don't worry about it. She's like, what? I'm like, just like, I don't want to explain what, I'm tired.
You wouldn't get it.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it. I was barking at some dogs. All right, listen.
I thought what you were going to say was you saw these dogs and you're like, I got to soundtrack this. The sound effects aren't coming through. So you're like, giving it everything. Soundtrack my own dreams. That's what I do.
Oh, well, yeah, I've had that moment of speaking as you're waking up. You're like, cinnamon.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just hear the cinnamon part and then the silence. And you're like, oh, I definitely spoke because I could almost hear an echo of what I said.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think that you're so into the dream that you verbalize it, right?
Yes.
Crazy.
It's interesting.
Really makes you think.
Bark. Another reason that I'm really frustrated with myself at the moment is because somehow I upgraded, this is years ago, I upgraded my fridge by getting my sister's other old fridge. I've only ever owned fridges that my sister has owned. So she gave me another fridge and it was slightly bigger. And now my partner and I have filled that fridge. But I don't understand how you could possibly fill a fridge for two people.
Yeah.
And it's all in these tiny jars, like quarter jars of like Thai green curry paste.
Yes.
Or seeded mustard and just the last few seeds. I don't understand what you're supposed to do with those jars after you use them.
The question is, do you feel you're actively using everything that's in that fridge?
No, absolutely not. But if I want to make a Thai green curry again, let's say in 3 or 4 weeks' time, don't I want the half jar?
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of your mistake.
Okay.
Every jar I open of a sauce like that, a curry or something like that, that's all going in.
Yes.
Whether I need to eat all of it or not, whether that's possible, it's going straight in.
Yes.
My partner is the same as you, though.
Yeah. So she's sane.
Uses what she needs.
Insane.
Use what the recipe suggests.
Yeah.
That is a fat peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah, that's right. No, because then we end up with the same problem.
Yes.
Where the back of our fridge is like 3 or 4 different types of curries. And then do you know what the thing is as well? Is you're not measuring out an exact half a jar, right? And in fact, if anything, you're going a bit over.
You're going a
right?
bit over.
So then you go back to it and you're like, that's not enough for one meal.
That's right.
I need just a tiny bit more.
That's
You're better
what's
off
happening.
opening a new one. Then you use like 3/4 of that. Then you got the 2/4 for a half next time.
Because I had this recently, I was making Japanese curry and I got my tofu and I was putting that in and I was probably like 2/3 of the way through the tofu. I was like, that's enough tofu. I don't want to keep this other third of tofu around. It's going in. And so it was way too much tofu in it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, if I don't eat this right now,
Yeah.
it's literally just going to go in the bin. I might as well just cook it.
So is
'Cause
that
I'm
it?
not going to sit there.
You either use it all and make an incredibly rich meal, or are you actually preparing more? so that you've got leftovers.
I'm normally I'll prepare more,
Yeah.
anticipating the leftovers for
What
the
if
next
it's
day.
but what if it's something that doesn't like using the whole thing would be like mental?
Yeah, like
I want an example. What?
Okay,
no, I mean like chili flakes or something, right?
chili.
Like
Yeah, okay, like chili.
a chili sauce thing.
I'm trying to think what else I have in there. Oh, okay. What
Pesto.
about like tamarind paste?
I don't even know what tamarind
I
paste is.
don't know what tamarind paste
All right.
is.
Well, then
Gorgeous animal, aren't they?
what's another little jar thing?
Oh, some like
All I can think of is mustard. I'm thinking of like every
How
type
about
of
this? How
mustard.
about this?
Seeded
Ginger. I've had like ginger paste.
Ginger
in
paste.
in my fridge.
Really,
right?
really good example.
mint
Okay.
sauce.
Oh God.
Mint sauce.
just
Yeah,
saying.
you
Just
can't put
throw it out.
Anybody who's bought mint sauce has made a mistake.
No,
yeah.
I think
I like
made-
mint sauce.
I made like it might have been a shepherd's pie or something, but it called
Yeah.
for mint. I was like, sure, I'll get everything they say. I don't normally do
Nothing
this, but I'll get it
calls
all.
for a mint
No.
sauce.
Whatever it was, and I went, I'm never using this sauce.
Yeah, yes.
Anything else?
No, I'm gonna say I like a mint sauce. I love a mint sauce, but buying a bottle of it is a mistake. You're
Yes.
never getting through
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
No, but see, I think right for me, when I have this situation, lots of different. I don't think my fridge ever gets as full as what you're saying, but I think the trick is what I'm hoping is that a month later, I'm going in, opening a jar, and there's mold on the top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Then I can
so
go,
good.
sweet.
Yeah.
This one's
Yeah.
done. Don't
Yeah.
have to feel guilty about having that in the fridge anymore. It's
That happened to a big jar of olives to me, and I was really into olives for a while, and then it went to the back of the fridge
Yeah.
where everything just goes to die and get moldy, and I was like, I had a moment where I was like, geez, I haven't eaten olives for ages.
Yeah.
I've got a full thing at the back.
Oh, no.
This is perfect. Opened it up, the mold. I
Yes.
didn't want the mold at that point.
Yes.
Can I ask, Christian? Are these unopened jars? Are they in the door, or are they
Combo.
in the main?
They've
thing?
gone from the door, and now there's so many that they're
'Cause-
stretching into where the
that's hell.
full bottles go.
No.
Yeah.
So you got tiny little
Because
jars.
I have issues with the sauces we have because I barely use them. I'm in a share house where there's 3-4 of us. Like I barely use them. It's just there are so many sauces and stuff there. I'm like, I don't know where they're all coming from. And then part of me goes, oh crap, did I buy that one? Like, it's been there,
yes.
so like, is that my mayonnaise? I thought because I just bought a new one. I was like, was that my mayonnaise from like 2 months ago?
How do
Yes.
you make it work, Josh, in a share house? You're the most experienced person here. Does everyone have their own mayonnaise?
No, like we do our best for the door stuff. That's communal.
Okay.
So if something goes in the door, you can be pretty comfortable to use it if you want to use it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you've each got your own shelf, and that's just your own stuff in there.
Okay, so how do you decide who's topping up the communal stuff?
Well, it's never really a thing for me because I really don't use any of that stuff. I'll buy the tomato sauce and I'll buy the mayonnaise.
What if
'Cause
you're
I'm
like
Australian?
Hey guys, no one's topped up the mint sauce. You've all been out shopping.
But yeah, I think it's just where the others probably do a bit more interesting cooking than I do. Mine's very basic. So it's like I don't use a lot of the sauces and stuff that are in the jars. So I just leave it to others to restock it. And I don't feel bad because I really don't use it at all.
Have you ever tried applesauce?
I don't think so.
Tried it.
Tried it. Just bought some applesauce.
Yeah.
Scoop. It's like baby food. And it reminded me how good baby food is. And I feel a little
Ripped off?
ripped off that adults don't eat more baby food.
I can
Wow,
just
it would
imagine
be
right
purity.
now, in the back of your fridge is like 12 different cans of baby food, half eaten.
Is it the flavor or the consistency that's
It's-
getting you good?
Both. This is a perfect blend of worlds. The texture, like you don't have to chew anything. You don't need teeth. It's made for people
You
without
must
teeth.
love having surgery then. You're like, oh, bring it on. I can't eat shit.
and it's just
so
like-
you had surgery on your foot. I can't eat anything.
More baby food. Put it on the feet. No. The fact that it's so full of flavor. Babies get good flavor, right? They don't skimp on the
This is
flavor
a
for
weird
babies.
hot take. Babies get good flavor.
But you know
They're
what?
holding it back on the rest of society.
Yeah, I reckon our food progressively gets worse.
Well, but the problem is babies, they don't need that because they've never experienced anything before. If anything, they should have the weaker flavor to start with. They go, that's pretty, wow, this is amazing flavor. I've never had this in my life.
Benjamin baby.
And then as you get older, build it up. Be like, we know you've tried basic applesauce. Try the good shit now.
Try this.
Yeah.
Try an
The
apple.
real- The other thing that has happened to me recently, I wanted to put it to the group. Freezer, in the freezer, the kinds of things you're keeping in the freezer. But my main dilemma, and I want to know if I'm right or wrong here, because I actually don't know. I keep my bread and my bread rolls for like the week in the freezer, and I get through that stuff. So every day, 2 of those rolls that are in the freezer, they're coming out and being eaten that
2
day.
rolls a day?
Yeah, they're not very
Whoa.
big.
Is this
Okay.
breakfast and lunch or lunch and
This is
lunch?
lunch. This is lunch.
That's a lot of bread, though.
Yeah, it is. I eat a lot of bread. Because I'm Australian.
You know what? I love bread.
Great.
Yeah.
This is a safe space, guys.
You
Nelson,
said
what
it.
do
You
you
said
love?
it like,
But
I don't know if I should.
So I was
I'm going to
nervous.
do it for all the bread lovers out there. Me too.
I don't mean to interrupt your story, but there is a prejudice against bread in food circles.
Yeah.
Not tasty bread, but just bread generally, you know?
The carbs.
It's the
The
carbs.
carbs.
Yeah.
It's what about Atkins? And God, I love bread, Josh. So
Great.
eat as many rolls as you
I
want.
do. I get
I'm
through
sorry
them.
to make you feel alienated.
It's completely fine. So normally if I'm anticipating a big few weeks, I'll buy 12 rolls, which will be 6, right? 12 rolls, 6 days. 6 days worth of lunch.
Yeah.
Get your maths right. Anyway, my point being, there's so much other crap in the freezer that sits there for months and months and months and doesn't move. Do I deserve more space because I'm getting through my freezer stuff? Or is a freezer for deep freezing? And it makes sense that there's stuff that's going to sit in there. Nelson, what do you think?
Oh, you know what? That's actually a tough one. Because, okay, what I want to know first is this stuff that people are leaving in the freezer for ages, like, is it stuff that you think they will eventually go back to?
Something like some frozen peas, I'm okay with that. 'cause
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
But something like a piece of salmon, it's like, nah, you got to eat that really quickly.
Interesting.
You can't leave it there for
Ooh.
because they've forgotten about it. I'm like, I know you've forgotten about this. There's
Yeah.
like a Tupperware container of dal. I know you've forgotten about this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have had it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what annoys me.
I'm on your side then. I think you get the extra space. In fact, I would go as far as just whacking a couple of those bad boys in the bin
Yeah.
when you're going
Whoa.
in.
They wouldn't know, would they?
They wouldn't know.
I'm not about this at all. I think in a share house, it's equitable distribution of freezer space. If you've got more than your allotment, that's too bad for you. The solution is buy a deep freezer.
Shop less often.
No. Buy more
Buy-
and freeze it.
I guess a secondary
Get a
freezer.
chest
yeah.
freezer.
Well, we
That-
don't all get hand-me-downs, Christian.
What do you? No. That's a really good point. In fact, I recognize how fortunate I've been to
Pretty
get
great.
2 fridges.
Fridges are great hand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
pretty good.
huge. But the best thing is, she gets her fridge that she's got right now. It's enormous. I cannot wait for her to get sick of it. I cannot wait for this fridge.
Every time you go around, he's like unplugging stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
knocking
Is this
it.
light? I don't know if it's that cold inside here.
You've got the new Good Guys magazine. Oh, you've seen the specials this week. Oh.
The fridges can look inside the fridge, tell you what you need to buy.
This one's got AI. It tells you when you're hungry.
This is good fridge tech.
What do you think? Do you think you think it's an even distribution?
I
I
think-
don't get extra space.
I don't think you get extra space, but I'm a bit skeptical about you questioning the proteins in the freezer. Like, just because things aren't eaten as frequently as you eat things, is the point of freezing.
I know, but that's
Like, you have the shortest lifespan frozen good
I know
of any.
I know and that's my problem with it because I'm like I can get behind, and I think it deserves to be there. Some ice cream because that has to live in the freezer.
Yeah.
Some iced cream.
Some ice cream. But the other things, they don't have to live in the freezer. So anything that like needs to live in the freezer, I'm kind of okay with it. But I don't know. Maybe that's
What
the key,
does-
right?
Okay, can I tell you something that doesn't need to live in the freezer?
Bread. Yeah, I know. I'm a hypocrite. I get
No,
it.
see, again, I'm on Josh's side for this.
Yeah.
Because, but for the opposite reason, actually, I don't go through bread anywhere near fast enough. So I've got to freeze my bread.
But that's it.
But you're going through it
No,
so
the bread,
quickly.
No, but if I had the bread out and inevitably something happens, I wouldn't get through it in time.
Something happens.
Something like life happens, right? And
Yeah.
maybe you didn't eat your bread that day, or you didn't have your rolls that day.
Yeah.
That if I did just have them out, they would not last. That's the problem, like, especially the rolls where I got to the point of like these taste so much better 5 days later if I've frozen it than if I haven't. So I'm going to keep doing it. And
How about a bread bin? Do you need a bread bin? Bring those
Oh,
back.
yeah.
does that save the bread?
What happened to bread bins?
What happened to bread bins? That's what I've asked this whole year.
Yes. I've heard you.
It's really been on my list of things to complain
almost
about.
exclusively complained about the lack of
I
bread
said,
bins.
bring back bread bins.
Yeah.
Please.
Do they actually keep it fresher? Is it an air thing?
I think it is an air thing, and it
I
does.
don't know nothing about this.
Yeah, give it a go, Josh.
So can I say, I never, once I opened, let's say, I'm not sure if this is just a vegan cheese thing, but like Cheers sliced tasty, right? Think about that, okay? If you've opened it, the slices get a little hard when they're exposed to the
yes.
the air, right? My partner introduced me to putting that without much effort inside of a Ziploc bag, sealing off the Ziploc bag as you would. And
Thanks for clarifying that you need to
It's not
zip
unzipped.
the Ziploc bag in order to keep the freshness
That's
inside.
zipped. And
I've
then
been doing it wrong for so
that
long.
will never
My Ziploc bag's in the bread bin. That's so fresh. Stop eating the Ziploc bag.
This is the freshest bread bin you'll ever see. Yeah, but it will not go hard. That cheese will stay fresh.
That's pretty good.
That's a good tip, and both of you have acted like I've
No,
given
do you
you
know
nothing.
what? Nah, it's. I sort of agree with you, except you're using the wrong vessel.
Okay.
You just need
Yeah.
Tupperware containers.
Yes,
They
yeah.
work, and they're so good, and they're reusable.
But
once
they're
you get
huge,
great-
and we've
Yeah.
got no space in the fridge.
I have.
That's the whole problem.
I forgot. Okay, we really need to address this space in the fridge issue. Okay, I've come up with the solution for you. Right?
Yeah,
Now
go
I've
on.
heard this done. I don't know where I heard this. Probably some TikTok video or something.
Sure.
It's when you've got a little bit of leftover alcohol in the bottom of, a bunch of different alcohol bottles. There's a thing you do where you get a watermelon. I don't know if you've heard about this. You get a watermelon, you cut a little hole in the top, put a funnel in, and then throughout like a month, whenever you almost finished a bottle of alcohol, pour it into the funnel, and then it like infuses the watermelon. So at the end of the month or whatever, you have some people around, cut it up. You've got like alcohol infused watermelon slices.
But different
Right?
kinds of alcohol?
Different kinds of alcohol. No, I'm not talking about like wine and beer. Like that's a bit. That's
No,
a bit.
spirits.
Think
like
about how
some
many
rum and some
spirits you're
gin.
getting through a lot of bottles.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's to make the watermelon like intoxicating with its alcohol levels, but I'm thinking you could apply a similar strategy here for all your
With the
sauces,
fridge.
right? Next time you go to make a pasta,
This is
Keep-
a good idea.
keep the passata bottle.
yeah.
Just start filling it up with some extra sauces that you've got in the fridge. After 6 months, go make a pasta. Creme de refrigerator.
Go to open it. Mold!
In the bin.
Would that in any way, if you put things that kind of work together, do you think that would be reasonable?
Sometimes I think actions speak louder than words. And the only way we're going to know is if, Christian, tonight you go home,
King's cup of sauces. That's what
put
we're
it all in a bowl, mix it up, whack some
I
pasta
think it's
on.
a good idea. I'm willing to try it.
Yeah.
I think we'll have you back on in 6 months.
Yes.
And you'll be the first to try the food.
Okay,
I'll cook it up
cool.
for you.
Yeah, can you just take a photo of all the tops of the bottles before,
Yeah.
before you bring it in? I want to just make sure there's no specks of mold on top.
Because I was thinking, I as a genuine test for the bread, I was like, I should just buy 2 loaves of bread, put one in the bread basket, one in not, and then when I have my toast every day, take one from each thing.
Hang on, you're using it as toast?
Well, yeah.
What do you mean, well, yeah?
Yeah.
You could have one out of the fridge for toast.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. The toast seems to me you can get past it with it easy.
Absolutely.
So it's
Problem
a
solved.
pointless exercise then.
This whole episode has been pointless. It's Monday morning and 2 colleagues have met in the lift and are engaging in some small talk. I'm here to help them. I've got the thing that they did on the weekend and on 2 other pieces of paper, a few random points. Here you go, Josh. Here's your paper.
Thank you. Do we read them now?
Yeah. You want to read them
Good
now.
audio
Nelson,
content.
there you go.
Question,
Yep,
well
that's
done.
Foley for you. And so the point is, what's that, Josh? Yes, that's that's that
Just
word.
checking his
Yep.
writing.
The point is, you need to include all three of these in your small talk with your colleague.
Great. It's great. All right. Shall we jump into the elevator?
Nelson, you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, morning, Nelson. How are you going?
Hey, Josh. Oh, sorry, I'm pretty tired.
Another big week at work. How was your weekend?
Yeah. It's pretty rough,
Rough?
actually. Yeah.
I've got a lot of floors to go, so I'm ready to listen in.
That's good. Yeah. My local branch of Jim's Mowing closed down.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. It was like just the lawns are going rampant at the
Yeah.
moment. It's really tough. Like
Did
there
you
was-
use your services a lot?
Yeah. We did the the guy who was running the business. Jim. Jim. Coincidentally, even though you don't have to be called Jim. He had to he actually had a brain aneurysm. It was pretty serious.
Oh my god!
Yeah. He was actually
While he was mowing your lawns, or
not mine, but my neighbors.
oh god!
Yeah.
Lucky.
So I was like hearing the panic outside.
Shit.
I
Over
ran
the
out.
lawnmower?
Yeah, I ran outside. It was electric, so it was like really quiet. Yeah. I ran outside, and my neighbor he's trying to pull the hat off Jim. He's wearing a hat.
His iconic hat.
Yeah, but the hat was too tight.
Yeah.
And I think that's what caused the brain aneurysm.
I'd believe it. I'd absolutely believe it.
Yeah, but it wasn't all bad though, because while Jim got sent to hospital, he'd left his lunch there.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah, fried rice without peas. So it's one of my favorites.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was pretty
Oh,
good.
great weekend in the end. Big
Yeah.
turnaround
how,
for you.
How about you, mate? What did you get up to?
Yeah, it's all right. Like, Saturday was really, really weird, though. I've not really experienced anything like it. I really hope not to again. But, like, woke up on Saturday and just had one really hot ear.
Oh, really?
It was just burning up. And I was like, what is going on? And then I realized I spoke to my girlfriend for like 4 hours on the phone the night before. And I reckon some of the microwaves have got through. And you know why? You know why we were talking for so long?
Yeah.
She's got deep into a bit of a rabbit hole, right? She watched that Celine Dion doco.
Oh.
And she told me the whole thing about how Celine Dion has stiff person syndrome and went into deep detail about it. And we just talked and talked and talked. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it
Nice
was,
weekend.
yeah, it was a weird Saturday and the hot ear. And the other weird thing that happened,
I thought you were done.
no, that's one other really weird thing that happened. My brother came over, brought his kid, and we're all hanging out. And notorious, this baby, for crying and going crazy, be really loud and noisy. And we're
Yeah.
kind of there. I was like, is everything all right with the baby? 'Cause I haven't heard a peep. I was like, okay. And we sort of went in to check. And sure enough, the baby was crying, but it had a really quiet cry. And I was like, amazing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, to have a really quiet cry, the baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
Wait,
my
what-
weekend. It was good fun. Oh, anyway, here's my floor.
Oh, I've got further to go. All right. So the other day, I had something happen, and I just want your guys' opinion on it. All right. I was walking down the street.
Oh, love it. Yep, I'm right.
Good. All right.
I think that's Nelson. I think that's okay.
And he's the
Next
hardest
topic.
to impress.
And I had just murdered someone. No. I was walking down the street, and coming towards me was somebody that I sort of knew. And as we locked eyes, definitely at one point. We were pretty far away from each other, but we acknowledged each other's presence for sure.
Oh.
And as we got closer, right, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to re-engage eye contact, say hey, bit of a wave, then move on. But this person very obviously, almost comically, I would say, when we got closer, stared across the other side of the road as if something was really interesting on that side and just kept walking straight past me. And I was like, oh, that feels a bit harsh.
It's a power move.
And but then I thought about it and I was like, what relation to me is somebody where I go to the extent to ignore them completely? Because even if there's someone that I'm like, oh, I don't really want to engage with this person, I can still throw a wave, give them a head nod, something.
Raise some eyebrows.
Yes.
Yeah, raise some eyebrows. You know, there's a bit there. So I was like, I just don't know like what I was to that person essentially.
Well, I'm curious, what were they to you? Well, what threshold had they met?
Okay, so they were just a friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend,
Right.
who you'd met a handful of times before?
Yes, yeah, definitely more than once.
Okay.
There's so I want to get your opinion first on like as I feed
Sure.
you more information.
Sure.
Okay, so like just at a base level, friend of a friend, perhaps.
To
Okay.
me,
What do you think?
the biggest mitigating thing is you don't know what kind of day they were having. And I come back to this a lot. That my experience of netball umpiring in particular gave me a real appreciation for you don't know what someone's day's been like. Because sometimes people, when they're playing netball, are fine. And then one day they just flip out. And it's like something's going on. So similarly, they might have been like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I have to go up. I'm feeling very depressed right now. And I need
Okay.
to go and do my shopping. There's that guy. Fuck. I really don't want to talk to anyone now. I'm going to pretend I saw a bird.
There's no head nod though.
There's got to
Like,
be something.
The barrier to entry
Yeah,
is
true.
low.
That's
Let's
true.
take it. Friend of a friend. That's our base level here. Josh,
Yeah.
you're seeing a friend of a friend. What's your level of engagement?
Well, if you actually, I've realized if you don't want to talk to them, you just clearly do not slow down. Your stride does not break.
Yes.
You just charge on through.
Can I say, famously, Josh and I have had an argument before, amongst other people, because Josh has said that if he saw someone from his high school, or was it primary
probably
school?
primary school.
Primary school. If he saw someone from his primary school walking down the street, he would ignore them because what do we have to talk about?
Remember Mrs. D? Man, she was cool. Anyway, see ya.
Right? I get nothing from that. That gives me nothing.
Yeah.
If you saw them and you like have an actual conversation, maybe. But I'm like, I don't want to street bump here. There's no point.
Could I posit to you that in your head you see friend of a friend, FOF,
Yeah.
FOAF, FOAF.
Yeah.
You see FOAF and you go, I just want to nod. Is this
Yeah.
what you're thinking? You're like, I just want to nod here. This isn't a chat.
I'm happy with a nod. I know that our relationship is not great enough
Yes.
that it's going to even go to anything more than that, you know?
Yes.
Because from a memory, I was going to work anyway. It was sort of the middle of the day. Like I think it was at lunch or something. I was just coming back. So I was like, I need to get back too. I'm just going to say a little like, oh, hey, you know, and then
yes.
that's it.
Okay, now let me play FOAF for a second.
Yeah.
I know you're a chatty guy. You've got your own podcast.
Ah.
I know friend of friend.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
And that friend, he's chatty too. And
Oh.
I don't want to get locked into a chat.
Ooh, yeah.
But you're a chatty guy. I'm erring on the side of ignoring in that instance, just because he's like, I can't be sure that you're not going to engage in a
There's
chat.
a chance that it might, yeah.
But I think you can do a really, really good job physically of intimating your lack of willingness to engage in a conversation. Like,
Yeah.
I think the little pithy little wave, that
Yeah.
says so much.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
bother with that,
Yeah.
that means I'm leaving.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you don't do a
I'm
pithy
done.
wave, you might chat. But if the hand goes, I'm like, hey, that means like I'm moving and I'm not stopping moving. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think that's right. And you said before your stride, like you need to be
Yes.
walking. In fact, I will be happy even to pick up pace
Yes.
when I'm coming towards somebody that I'm like, I'm going to give a quick nod.
And this guy's running at
And
me.
then-
What's going on?
Desperate
Is
for
that
a
an
chat.
eye in his head? Oh my god. Yeah, I think that the ideal situation, I think, is being the person that doesn't really want to talk to somebody, is when you're crossing the road at the exact same time.
Yes.
Oh.
You've got the perfect excuse.
You're like So we're in the middle of the intersection.
Yes.
Red man is flashing.
Yes.
We've got barely seconds to get off the road. Hey, see ya.
That's
That's
perfect.
it.
It's perfect.
I think that, but you do risk. Here's the thing, because in those situations, I might be more confident to be more cheery.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got barely anything to lose here.
Yeah.
Be like, hey man, so good to see you. Oh, hey, we'll catch up soon.
Imagine
right?
approaching all small talk with that attitude.
There's a red man flashing.
There's a red man flashing, and you only need to give 5 to 10 seconds.
Yes.
Ready? Hey man, how you going?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good. I'll yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good to see. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he didn't want to chat to you.
you out. Figured you out.
How, Josh? If you see friend of a friend, if you see FOAF, what is your instinct? What's your gut instinct?
My instinct is I don't want to talk to them. And it's all, to me, like, timing is everything. Where you said you caught eyes, and I think that's huge, because if you catch eyes, you have to acknowledge.
Yes.
If you manage to avoid eyes and you can get closer, be like, yeah, I'm looking at my phone at the moment where we would normally lock eyes.
Yes.
I don't know. You don't know I saw you.
I think that's true. I think you can get away with less of that social etiquette of saying hi if there's been no eye contact.
Plausible deniability.
Even if you know, because I feel like sometimes you know, where it's like you might be the only two people on the street walking up from like a long distance, and you're like, we've definitely clocked each other, but at different times. But it's still fine when you pass just to ignore them.
Similarly, I think there are times where you can tell absolutely that person was entirely engrossed in something else and had no idea we just crossed each other.
True.
I totally feel that.
So that, for me, would be the phone. If I think that one of us has to do each other a favor here, because we probably both know if there's a sense we both don't want this, I'll pull the phone out, and that is my escape.
Yeah.
Well, to me,
I'm engrossed in whatever's happening on my phone.
You wouldn't feign a look across the road just in the distance?
Oh, wow. Look at that thing.
stop to take a selfie. Looking this way. But with your phone, here's the key question. If it's in your pocket, what kind of range are we pulling it out at?
Oh, that's
when are you
really
going
good.
like, I've got to prepare this? Or like, you can't do it too like, it just buzzed. I better get it out now. Are you trying to be engaged with it by the time you get to me, it's about 2-3 meters. I think that's the natural time when you would look at someone.
You're quite good at this. I know you've thought about this a bit before. 2-3 meters seems like the 2-3 meters you're walking past. I think that's about right.
That's when you would naturally, if someone was walking towards you, you would look at them.
But I feel like that's for a look, but engaging comes a bit earlier. If you're going in for a chat, I'm thinking like 5 meters before you're like, hey.
Yeah. If you've clocked them.
Big hey.
So if you've clocked early, you've got a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah, heaps of time. How are you in that moment with that stranger, let's say, acquaintance chat?
Yeah.
How do you feel you go?
I think I'm fine. I feel like I can, regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
I can duck and weave a conversation.
Okay.
To the extent that I want to.
Great. Crafty.
I'm not worried about it.
A crafty auteur.
I'll fake a phone call from my mom if I really need to.
I can make them think I'm interested in what they're saying.
Was he doing the ringtone with his mouth? I think he may have been.
It's kind of coming from over there.
No, I just jolt my leg a little bit, so it's like, oh, his phone's on silent. It's just the vibration.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my god, they've really upped that vibration recently, haven't they? Oh, anyway, see ya.
I think I'm pretty good at like flat out, like pretending to value all of our time. Because I'm like, I've got no idea what's going on in your day right now. You have no idea what's going on in my day. I'm on the way to something. That I can't talk. Even if I'm not, hey, I'm on my way to something. I can't talk, So I'm really good at just being like, look, sorry. It's so good to see you though. It'd be really good to anyway, see you later. Like just quick as that.
I have just remembered that in one of our earliest patches, someone took beef with you, one of our very close friends, for doing a side, like a quick, sorry, I'm off to work. I can't remember exactly who, but someone was like,
that's right.
Yeah, one of your closest
Daniel,
friends, it was Daniel.
Yeah.
Was you kind of stopped and said, I'm off to work, and kept going.
Yeah.
In a moment where, with a very close friend we're talking about now,
okay.
that warrants a stop dead, right? You've got to stop
But
dead.
if I'm running late.
No, I think actually you can get away with less.
You get away with less, you think, Nelson?
I reckon you can sort of be like a really close friend. Let's say in this case it'd be Cambo, right? Best friend, host of Reddit on Reddit podcast. You should check it out.
Guest host on Welcome to Patchwork, patch 131.
I think so, yeah.
130. Yeah.
Anyway, I think I can just say like, "Hey, dude, I'm just gonna go." And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine." You know, we're close enough that there's almost no social niceties.
So you're with Josh there.
Yeah, I think I am. I don't think it matters because like being that
ally on the show is brilliant.
Yeah, this sucks.
It's pretty rare.
Now I've got to think for myself.
Right. Christian, though, I want to know your because to me, you are such an incredibly nice person. One of the things, legitimately, I was excited to come here today for is because I knew that I'd get a good Christian hug.
How good's that? I had so much trepidation in going to hug you because I was like, people have told me, more so you, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, you're just not a massive hugger. And in my head, growing up, I was always like, everyone's a hugger. And recently I've been trying not to hug people so much.
Yeah.
And I just went for it.
No. Christian, you give one like the best hugs. And you know what was so good? About like 5 minutes after that, I met your mum. Yeah. She gave me the biggest hug. I've never met her before in my life. I was like, it runs in the family. Right. This is where it comes
We're
from.
Huggers, big huggers.
But I can't imagine you passing someone in the street and just not acknowledging them. To you, what's the like furthest out? What's the situation for you where you're like, I'm ignoring this person?
I think so. Yes, you're right, but I definitely also have social anxiety. So there's that part of my brain that's like, you need to think of something to say, like well in advance. I'll clock them, and if I can't find, I think the thing that I'm like, oh, here's that thing about that person that I can immediately go to, then I will look to ignore.
Oh, right.
If you don't have a bullet in the chamber.
If I don't have a bullet in the chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I that being said, I think that I'll go to self-deprecation pretty quickly.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm not sure and I've had an accidental bump and I'm like, I'll just be like, fuck, I suck.
Yeah.
Let's rip on this.
Icebreaker. Actually, wow.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
sorry.
So I just want to add a little bit more detail to the encounter that I had.
Yes, good, please.
So the other caveat for this, remember, somebody completely ignored me, was that just 2 days ago, I saw this person and we had conversed at length.
Are you serious?
With other people at the table.
That is a betrayal.
This changes everything.
The funny thing is actually, so this didn't just happen the other day. Actually, it not even a few months ago. I think it was a few years ago this happened.
Yes.
But I've kept it fresh in my mind.
Yes, good.
See, I've kept it in the back pocket.
Oof.
For the day that I end up on a Patchwork episode.
Yes. This is your Patchwork story.
Because the person who ignored me on the street
it was me.
Was Dion.
Oh, what a safe place to raise it.
I was so worried right then. I was like, oh my God.
I know.
You could hear your hearts going right now. Yes, the engagement that we had was it was actually after a Game Boy show. So we were there, and then we were on some rooftop somewhere. We were sitting down talking to each other for quite a while. I think you were there as well, Christian.
Yep.
And
I remember you.
Yes. And so I was ready. And so I would say the relationship I have with Dion is very similar to the relationship I have with you, Christian.
Sure.
Because we're
Josh's
Josh's friends. Yeah, you're FOAPs.
Yeah.
And if I saw you, I'd be going in for one of these hugs, mate, if I'm going to be honest.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was happy to be like, look, we're not super close, just FOAPs. I'll just say hi and keep going. But nope.
Amazing.
Off in the other direction.
Okay. So is it possible that I'm trying to think for Dion.
I think
I'm
what
trying
it
to
is,
think.
it could be, I can't remember his name.
Could be. That
I
could
don't
be
want to.
it. Yeah.
I talked to him like 2 weeks ago. I can't
Yeah,
remember his name.
Also,
This is hell.
an occupied mind and an unfamiliar face.
Yes.
Perhaps.
True.
Perhaps.
There was something
Gotta
off
give
in
him
the
benefit of
distance
doubt here.
that looked really interesting.
Yes.
So that could have been genuine. I thought it was fake. But like, what if there was like some crazy
And
hot
you
air
missed
balloon?
Because I do think if you see someone, if you couldn't remember their name,
Yeah.
that is one thing they'd be like, I can't engage with this. 'cause
That
I
is
can't
a
remember their
It's
name.
actually
Yeah.
almost
Shit.
because our interaction was so recent
Yes.
that he's like, I need to
I
engage
should.
more than just the hello. And so I should know their name, should say, hey, Nelson, whatever.
Yeah.
And I
Very
think-
high stakes.
Yeah, that could have been. You could be right.
Do you know
Let's give Dion the benefit of the doubt.
Hey.
It's been like legitimately like 6 years. I reckon.
good.
I'm like, oh, I've kept it
And
up.
you
here.
haven't spoken to him
Kept it-
since.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
The next meeting, though, that will be loaded.
Oh, that's going to be tense.
I'll tell you another circumstance where there's high stakes is when it's someone you used to be very, very close to, but then over time the relationship separated, and then you see them again for the first time in a long time, maybe randomly in the street. In that moment, I think that's the most likely I am to ignore
Yeah.
because there's too much at stake.
Yeah. You're like,
It's-
where do we start?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know whether it's like, was it my fault that we stopped interacting or was it your fault?
Oh, yeah.
What was the breakdown here?
Yeah.
Life moved on.
Life
That's all it was.
finds a way,
Life finds
Josh.
a way. Yeah, I think in that moment, you've just got to decide, like, I feel you're kind of suggesting that there's an agreement here that a conversation, because we were so close, a conversation should happen. A little wave is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do the full thing. So I'm just going to go hard ignore
Yeah.
because I can't do a little wave.
Yes, that's right.
I think that's it.
and I don't know what the conversations. There's too much at risk here.
Yeah.
I think that if I've got something loaded up, also if I am prepared to see that person again, I will engage. I think that is if I think about it, I will engage with someone who I'm like, I'm prepared, even if it's someone that I've only met very briefly. I'm like,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this person's company.
Yeah.
I'm going to invest
Yes.
a bit more. It's an investment. It's a side of the street investment.
And that's a sound investment strategy. And it's gotten you this far.
And look at me now. I'm hugging Nelson.
Now it's time for a very special game we call Copycat. Now, what you got to do in Copycat is you're just recreating a sound, a common sound, or perhaps a phrase, or perhaps a little phrase for a classic Australian radio ad.
Oh.
The Copycat phrase today is the hello by Frank
Oh,
Walker.
he's-
I didn't actually mean to do that.
He's actually up to a good start.
I didn't realize how close your voice naturally is to Mr. Frank Walker.
I actually didn't try
Well,
to do
that's your entry. All right, Christian.
Josh, how do you feel about national tiles?
it. So we're doing the Frank Walker's hello from National Tiles. Just the hello. And
Stop saying it,
And
man.
for everyone listening, it sounds like this.
Hello.
Okay. Should I go first then? Or?
I think you should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's not what I was going to do.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
do what you're going to do.
Jesus. All right. Okay. Here we go. Hello.
I think yours was almost like a busty damsel in the 50s. At one point, he just got up so high so quickly.
I was pretty happy with it.
It was fine.
It was good. It was good. I actually don't think you needed to. hold your
No,
nose
Josh.
so much.
Josh pinched his nose.
Hey, we'll see how it comes
Just like
out
a
in the
busty
end.
damsel
Well,
does.
how are you then, Christian?
Okay, ready? Hello.
Oh, damn! That's
Jesus.
good.
That's really good.
That's really good.
I don't want to say anything.
Oh no! There's so much pressure now.
And yours needs to be the funniest.
Okay.
Let's go, Nelson.
Hello.
Got a tail. Got a real good tail on it.
There was a
That's how.
really, really nice tail.
That's how you know a big sale's coming to
Yeah,
Frank Walker's
yeah.
National Tiles.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Christian.
I think Christian.
or me during the setup.
Yeah, yours
Actually,
during the setup was
pretty
easily the
close.
best.
That's it. We're all done. Another episode of Welcome to Patchwork in the trash can. Thank you so much for listening, everybody.
I thought I was better than that, but okay.
I didn't realise we got a guest, of course. Massive thank you to Nelson Allingham for coming on today. Want to tell us a little bit more about Reddit on Reddit?
Yep, Reddit on Reddit. We take the top posts of Reddit posts and talk about them. You can find it literally anywhere.
It's great.
You get to hear Nelson and Cambo, so two of our funniest episodes from the last couple of weeks. I think this is going to be an instant classic.
Oh.
But you get to hear them together.
Christian's grabbing it out of the bin, putting it
Put
on
it
the
on the wall.
mantle.
It's in the fridge.
It's on the fridge. It's on the fridge. Also, you can find us, Welcome to Patchwork, across the socials if you want to get in touch. We love hearing from listeners. Stuff you want us to talk about. You could send us a Roybus challenge, perhaps.
We were just talking about, the three of us were just talking about how nice it is to receive feedback because it doesn't happen very often. So please let us know if you enjoy the show.
Yes. Or, if you're like Chris and Katie, come say hi to me at work. It was great. Made my night. Great. Great. It's great. It's great to see you. Yeah, I think that's everything. So, as we do every week, it's time to sew a new patch into our quilt of friendship. Christian, what patch did you sew this week?
Thank you, Josh. This week I sewed into my patch Nelson, my foaf to bis, my friend of a friend that barks in his sleep. And Nelson, what did you sew into your patch this week?
Thank you, Christian. The patch that I sewed into my quilt of friendship this week was giving Christian a long cuddle in the middle of an intersection while looking over his shoulder to see Josh put a teaspoon of mint sauce on his pie and throw the rest away. Josh, what are you going to sew into your patch this week?
Thank you, Nelson. My patch this week is Christian giving a tepid wave and a meek hey to a jar of olives at the back of his fridge he'd only met once before 3 months ago. Well, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Welcome to Patchwork for another week. I've been Josh.
I've been Christian.
And I've been Nelson.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.